Brit man last updated 1637, February 23, 2018. Carlos Garcia, Knight of New Zealand, competes during the men's Big Air qualification Heat 2 on day 12 of the Pyeongchang 2018 Winter Olympic Games at Alpensia Ski Jumping Center on February 21, 2018 in Pyeongchang, South Korea. Dai Tamaki reckons if she added up what it's cost to feed her two rugby star kids over the years, every square centimeter of them would be worth about $1 million. Tamaki, whose daughter Tarina was in her final year of high school when she was selected for the New Zealand women's rugby sevens team that won a silver medal at the 2016 Summer Olympics, is also mum to Isaac, who just missed out on making the men's sevens team that year, speaking the day after two 16-year-old won bronze medals at the Pyeongchang Olympic Winter Games. She is well qualified to talk about what it takes to make a young Olympian. Tarina Tamaki fends off Southampton's Amy Duplessis at the National Secondary School's Top 4 rugby final in 2015. Read more, neighbors, mates, medalists NZ bronze wins no fluke NZ uniforms are hitting Korea brothers mismotivates Nico travails of US gold medalist Winter Olympics full medal. Tamaki says food and sleep worthy most important factors in her kids' success. If you can get that nailed, you can nail anything. New Zealand women's rugby sevens Olympic medalists Huriana Manuel, left with Tarina Tamaki and Teresa Fitzpatrick with students at St Columba's School in Hamilton. Tarina, who is temporarily living at home before moving to Tauranga to live with teammates, will soon learn whether she's made the women's sevens squad heading to the Commonwealth Games in April. Her mum, who says she is no nutritionist, nevertheless takes care to keep the pantry well stocked with items low in fat and sugar, healthy foods that are filling, so Tarina doesn't need to worry about what she's eating. By way of example, last night's dinner was fresh fish wraps with avocado, salad and homemade tartar sauce. Nico Porteous of New Zealand poses with his bronze medal from the men's ski halfpipe final at Medal Plaza on February 22, 2018 in Pyeongchang, South Korea. My biggest fear is if I haven't done my job when the kids are home, making sure they've got the petrol in the tank. Tamaki says, for as long as she can remember, she has been carting her kids to school about 6 a.m. for training, after which they'd return home for breakfast and then go back to school. After school, there was more training, and often games. Bedtime was 8:30 p.m., and there was little partying during their teenage years. The kids' weekends were spent at the rugby grounds or at training camps. This has never been about me. Tamaki says. Bronze medalist Zoe Sadowski-Synnott of New Zealand poses after the victory ceremony after the snowboard ladies' Big Air final on day 13 of the Pyeongchang 2018 Winter Olympic Games at Phoenix Snowpark on February 22, 2018 in Pyeongchang, South Korea. But I've always taken real enjoyment out of it. And I feel real responsibility, too. If I've done my bit I can really enjoy the good times with them, because you feel like you've contributed to it. Tamaki, who lives in Hamilton, balanced the commitments of her full-time job as an HR manager, which often saw her travel for work, with the logistics of having two kids in high-performance sport. I look back, and we've committed a huge part of our life, with not 1 ounce of regret, to making sure the kids have what they needed and whatever was in our sphere of being able to help. Karen Nimmo is a Wellington clinical psychologist with a specialty in sports psychology. I don't feel like we've gone without because we've had so much pleasure from they've achieved. It never felt like work. Her husband Sonny was the kids' loudest supporter. He's the first person you'll hear if you're 7 miles from the rugby paddock, while she was constantly thinking ahead about whether boots needed replacing, for example, and the big one, how to fund the kids' increasingly expensive extracurriculars. Tamaki's parents were instrumental in financing the travel and other costs associated with kids aiming for Olympic glory. I often think we must miss out on some of the most amazing athletes in New Zealand simply because most kids won't have that support, through no fault of anyone's, or have a family who really doesn't give a toss. Tamaki says her kids' grades didn't suffer despite their intense commitments outside of the classroom. But she remembers talking to Tarina's school principal, saying maybe her daughter's greatest achievements were to be a great sportsperson. For me, I think all you need in your life is to feel you've achieved as well as you could in something that's really in your heart that you want to do. Tamaki still gets emotional recalling the moment her daughter found out she was going to Rio. She had to balance celebrating her daughter's achievement with her son's disappointment at not making the men's sevens team. In any sport, there's almost more bad news than there is good news, she says. And unlike her, her kids often haven't wanted to talk about their disappointments. I probably annoy the S out of them sometimes. T. Tamaki says, you want to help them deal with it, but actually, you can't. It's their life, it's their job, it's their everything. She says it's often easier for her kids to discuss these topics with professionals outside the family. That doesn't stop her from worrying. Whatever age they are, they're my babies and you want them to do well. If you could see all my grey hair and my 700 wrinkles. Karen Nimmo is a Wellington-based clinical psychologist with a particular interest in sports psychology. She says the number of clients she sees aged under 20 is increasing. Top young athletes now see the top 2 inches as crucial to peak performance. And if they don't, their parents do. She says, everyone acknowledges physical talent is not enough, you have to have your mind in the game too. Parents contact Nimmo if they want to help them get to the next level, or if they're concerned. Issues arising include confidence problems, managing anxiety, fear, expectations, failure, as well as emotional management, handling anger or distress during competition, and not being able to compete due to injury and non-selection. There are also a lot of personal issues that impact performance. Nimmo adds, being an elite athlete sets you up for a weird life. There's no other way to say it. It looks glamorous from the outside, but it involves huge sacrifice, family investment, pain, risk, social and career compromise, financial hardship, loneliness. It's a tough lifestyle, especially for those in individual sports, and the faint-hearted need not apply. Successful athletes need a combination of talent, a massive work ethic, support, money and people, and a steel-trap mind. She says, the very best have all but as well as an absolute love of their sporting environment, snow, water, track, teams etc. You can see the glint in their eye when they talk about it. While it's difficult for younger athletes to succeed at an Olympic level, Nimmo says they have some physiological advantages, including facing lower expectations, allowing them to perform freely, as well as wrap-around support from family, so they are fed well, financed and looked after outside sport.